AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 6 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You got a soft spot in your heart for people who just need a little extra help in this world, right, Robin?
Yes.
I've seen you. You do a lot of great work for the children, especially those children who have special needs, autism or Down syndrome, anything like that. In the studio, Karen Vega is here. She's the executive director of the Outreach Autism Services Network. Good morning, Karen. How you doing?
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Been with us before. And Chris Maxwell, am I saying your last name right?
Yes, sir. Like the coffee.
Like the coffee. Yes, it is my favorite. You are an applied behavior analyst provider.
Yes,
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Now, we'll find out what that means in a little bit. And on the phone are Mary, Spivey, and Jamie. And I'm just going to put the pod up just real quickly to say good morning, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, just hang in there because you probably just had a horrible echo. And so I'm going to try to do my best to go back and forth, and we'll include everybody in on the conversation. Karen, I'm going to ask you to start this. What's going on? Do you have an event happening tomorrow?
We do. We have a rally called ROAR. It's... Oh my gosh, what is the ROAR stand for? We came up with this great acronym, and now it's Restore or Start ABA Rally is what it is. And basically what's happened is that there was a company called Beacon that was handling all the authorizations for applied behavioral analysis, and that contract was given to a company called EQ back in March.
Okay.
And since then, we've seen 80% or more of autism families lose applied behavioral analysis, which is the preferred therapy for children and adults with autism that assists with life skills, behavioral skills, social skills. And this has just systematically been taken away by a lot of families all over the state.
And who's the contract with?
It's Medicaid. Medicaid pays for the service, but they contract with a company called EQ Health to actually do the approvals or the denials. And so since this changeover has happened, we've seen families systematically lose these needed services. And I've got denial letters of families that have received them.
And why are they being denied?
I'm going to let Chris go ahead and answer that. He's one of the providers, and either that or Mary, I think they would be better suited to answer that.
Yeah, so Miss Mary can also pitch in on the topic as well. What we're seeing is basically on the forefront, it's hard to say why they're denying coverage other than a monetary issue, but reasonings they're giving for denials are, I've had several denials come through that say they need targets for maladaptive goals, which in layman's terms means they need like definitions of problem behaviors and graphs that demonstrate that there are problem behaviors. Those are attached in initial plans, and then when you get the letter back, you're getting a letter back that says they need these things, however, they're already inside of the plan. So there's a lot of confusion as far as what they need. There hasn't been a template updated for the procedures and what they need in behavior plans since I think 2017.
That's correct.
So there's no real rhyme or reason as to why these plans are getting denied or why these children are losing coverages. We're also seeing a trend of sometimes something comes in as a pend, which means EQ might pend a behavior plan, which is a necessity for any child who needs ABA services. They need a behavior plan in place. So you turn in a behavior plan, some children might get a pend, which means basically EQ inquires for more information. So they say, we need this, and this in order to approve your services. But then we see some kiddos go straight to denial. So instead of getting pended for that information, they go straight to a denial instead of that initial inquiry for that information. I know it sounds like a rat race as I talk about it. My brain's a rat race. Our lives have been a rat race for the past 3 months. Mary, I'm sure, can vouch for the lack of sleep and the just exhaustion that's set in trying to keep up with what exactly is going on. I definitely want her to chime in because she's had some different experiences.
The other thing I want to say really quick is that the thing that's frustrating is that what they're asking for when they're pending and denying is already in the behavioral plan that's initially been submitted. So I can understand if you're denying for something that's not in the plan, but it's something that's already in there. And I'd really love to hear what Mary has to say about this as well.
Okay, before we go to the two ladies on the phone, I want to ask you, Karen, if you could help us understand what the services are that are being denied, because right now I'm still in the dark a little bit. So maybe tell me what the other company that they don't no longer use, what did they used to do that the new company doesn't do?
They were approving the services, and this company systematically is not.
Okay.
That's the big difference.
So help us understand what the services are. What does the child experience? What
Absolutely, yes, sir. So there is no cure for autism, but there is a treatment for autism, and that treatment is applied behavior analysis. It is data-driven, it's science-based, it's a hard science. It doesn't deal with mentalisms or anything like that. It's foolproof. There's data that shows that it works. Basically, it's tailored to the individual. So if they need life skills training, we can work on that. We can work on skill acquisition goals, such as, if they need to learn mathematics or if they are having trouble in school, we could work on that. We can work on life skills, such as potty training, verbal behavior. So if they need a voice, if they're not speaking, or if they need to be taught sign language, or they need to be taught how to properly vocalize, we work on that.
Work on social skills. You work on
social skills.
If the child is eloping, which is running away, or if you've got a child that's wandering, it's helping them to be able to understand how they need to be safe. There's kids with autism don't understand danger.
Okay.
They don't understand how to have a normal social conversation, and so a lot of times they have issues in school. They have issues in the home environment. If they're nonverbal, they have behavioral explosions because they don't know how to express themselves. So it's helping them through all of this. With a normal, typically developing child, they kind of just learn this stuff on their own. But with a child with autism, it's baby steps, and you need someone that's got training in order to help through the process and to train the parents and to also train the teachers, the caregivers, anyone that's working with the child on how to. It's basically providing them with a new rule book. When you have a kid, at least most kids, you have a little bit of an understanding, even if you've never had a child before, of what you need to do in order to take care of the child. But when it comes to a child with autism, it's like all of a sudden you've been sitting home with a child that speaks Chinese and you speak English. What do you do? And what he does is he's kind of the translator to kind of help to help parents to understand and caregivers to understand and teachers to understand how they need to work with this child and how they need to help them through the behavioral challenges, life skills, social skills, those sort of things.
You've done a really good job helping us understand why this is necessary. All right.
Wonderful.
Let me go to Mary Spivey. She's on the phone. Her credentials are she's an applied behavior analysis provider with behavioral analysis support services, correct? Is that everything right there?
Yes.
Good morning, Mary.
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
Good. Chime in on this, if you would.
Well, there's a lot. So I'll start first with, I kind of have a bullet list of things that are very challenging right now. One of them, speaking to the denials, is there's an echo. Are you guys hearing that?
Let me see if this helps. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's still there. It's okay. I'll persevere through it.
Okay.
What we are seeing is a lot of authorizations being hung up for 45 days or more with no feedback, even though the website says 10 to 16 days. So that authorization period takes a very long time to happen, and then it could come back, as Chris said, denied, and we're not really sure why, because all of the components that we're required to report are in there. There's long wait times to get providers numbers to be able to collect reimbursement. It's very challenging to get new clients started. So our wait lists are getting longer and longer. And another issue is that it's taking a long time to get new providers credentialed. So say I have a staff leave and I need to hire somebody new. It's very challenging and takes a very long time to hire somebody else and get them credentialed under the program, and it's a voluntary program, so they may deny that provider anyway. So we're seeing in Marion County and across the state, we're seeing providers denied, and with it being said that it's a voluntary program, so they don't have to accept everybody or every provider. So this creates very long wait lists because we're not able to meet the needs of our communities. And these kids, and the sad fact is that the kiddos are suffering, and they need the help.
Okay.
The families need the help.
Okay. So who do we need to contact in order to try to persuade them to change their mind?
Well, when you're talking authorization, that for services, that would be EQ Health. EQ Health is contracted by Medicaid. Medicaid is the one that credentials providers.
Okay, and don't they lose money by denying somebody's services?
No.
Is it about money?
It's about money. The providers, Chris and Mary, are the ones that would get the service. EQ Health is just authorizing whether or not Medicaid will pay for the service. So
yeah, but usually when somebody says you're going to get paid, that means somebody else gets money.
the provider would get paid and the state would pay it. EQ is making the decisions whether the state, Medicaid in this case, or Children's Medical Services will pay for a provider to provide these services, which are federally mandated.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Can I go to Jamie?
Yes, please.
Jamie, I want to go to you because I understand you were actually denied, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, my child, yes.
Okay, and tell me about your child. What's your child's name?
Samuel.
Samuel. How old is Samuel?
My Sammy. He is 4.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and the services you had before were helping. Can I call it therapy? Is it therapy?
It is therapy.
Okay.
Yes.
So the therapy that Sammy, right? Sammy was getting before was helping, right?
Absolutely, it was. Absolutely.
Help us understand how it helped. I know. Karen already went over a little bit, but I want to hear from the mom.
It's very hard because it was a great help to him. He was starting to be able to go out and be able to spend time in stores, for example. I know that for quote unquote the normal family, it's just a given. You can spend time in the store and go grocery shopping. For us, it was a little bit of a challenge. My son was a little overwhelmed and could not spend time in the store for too long. So they were helping me with that. They were helping me with trying to have my son spend a little more than maybe 5 minutes trying to do a task. They were helping me with having my son sit down and try to eat for more than 5 minutes at a time. I mean, there's countless things that they were trying to help my son with, and he was making great progress. And there's been a great setback now that my son has lost his services, because from one day to another he absolutely has no services, and
it's devastating.
So there's a noticeable difference without the services. Have you spoken to somebody? What is it called? EQ?
EQ and then Opera as well.
Do they pick up the phone when you call them?
When I called to see why it was that he was denied, there really was not much of an explanation given. It was just, you will receive a letter in the mail, which I did. But there really wasn't much of an explanation to me.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Okay,
it's very devastating. I have a child who is 4 years old and who shows aggression. There's just countless things that my son has, and needs help with.
He would scream in the car like uncontrollably.
And so he did this for a while under the care of Chris and Mary, right?
Not Chris and Mary. They work for two different companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
But work that they do, similar work, right?
They do the same work. It's just different companies that they work for. The provider that worked with Jamie was doing tremendous work, and not having this provider there's regression in these children, and the behaviors return. It needs to be all the time.
Oh my
and
gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So in 20 minutes, I went from not knowing a thing to understanding it. How is it possible that people who should understand this way more than I have ever, how come they can't understand? This seems like a no-brainer.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. There was a time when we understood that there was only one person approving services for the whole state. And how is it that you can systematically take away services for all the children in the state and basically make them new clients since they switched over from Beacon to EQ Health? And then all of a sudden just penned everyone, and so you're just waiting in limbo.
Okay.
Or in the case of the two denials that we have here, within 24 hours of doing a complaint with ACA in one case, and what's the acronym for ACA stand for? Agency for Health Health Administration, something like that. They oversee Medicaid. 24 hours within filing a complaint against Medicaid, there was a denial letter on one, and then within 48 hours of the other. And putting in those Medicaid complaints is supposed to help, but not only did it not help, but they got denied, and it really seems like it's connected.
My hope is that through the radio show, if you helped me understand what it's about, I know that our listeners grasped it also. Karen, you gave us a map, and I want to describe the map. It's a map of Florida,
yes.
And there are counties in white, which is about 2/3 of the state, and counties in orange. Help me understand what this means.
Okay, for this map, for people that are looking at home on their computers, anything that is in orange means that there's no providers. So that means that people in these counties are either not getting needed applied behavioral analysis, or they're having to travel to other counties. In Marion, we only have 4 providers, and the statistics are showing through CDC that 1 in 59 children has autism, but in the families that we work with here in Ocala, we're finding it's more like 1 in 20 families that have autism. And so all of a sudden you get...
So who makes the decision? We only have 4 in Marion County?
Yeah.
And who makes that decision? The county
Medicaid
commission?
or EQ.
Okay, so it's not a county-run thing.
No, it's decided at the state level whether or not you can be a provider. And this is the other thing that's happened that's really unfortunate, is all of a sudden EQ is changing what the qualifications are to be a registered behavioral technician, which would work under an assistant applied behavioral analysis or an applied behavioral analysis, and also for the assistant applied behavioral analysis and the applied behavioral analysis, what education and what background they have to have in order to be a Medicaid provider, when it should be the governing board for applied behavioral analysis and their team that make these decisions, not EQ. So,
excuse me when I interrupt you. I don't mean to.
Yes.
I just know that with the clock, I want to make sure we can help you.
Yes, please.
And I think the power of numbers might help you in this case. And the listeners are listening and trying to figure out what this is about.
Yes.
And hopefully by now they have heard enough to figure it out.
Yes.
So tomorrow there's an event, but is there something we can do if we don't go to the event? Can we write letters to somebody, make phone calls to somebody?
Call the governor's office, call your senators, your representatives.
What would we say?
Say that we need ABA, Applied Behavioral Analysis Services, restored now. We need them restored
All right,
now.
so there's the catchphrase.
Yeah.
We need Applied Behavioral Services restored now. Okay. And they'll know what we're talking about?
Hell no. Trust me. They've been getting calls, but they're not doing anything. We've called the governor's offices. We have called ACA's offices. We've called Medicaid, and nobody's listening. And so that's why we're going to this level. I mean, this has been going on since March, and we haven't done anything. But now it's gotten to the point where it just continues to get worse and worse every single week. And we have to do what we have to do to make sure that these kids get the services they need.
If we have anybody listening that is in elected office, please call. Would they call you, Karen?
Yes, please give me a call. Karen Vega, 352-462 0168. I have reached out to Senator Baxley's office, and I believe they will be coming to visit me next week, so thank you, Senator Baxley. I need all of you, representatives and senators, and the governor. I'd like to hear from all of you. We need to work this out together.
Okay, now about tomorrow.
Yes.
Is this something, tell me about tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow we're having a rally, and it's for anyone that supports kids with autism getting these needed services back. It's for any family that has lost these services anywhere in the state. You're welcome to come, and we'll just be going to the streets and just letting people know that you need to bring these services back. And so we've asked the media to come and just see these families and talk to these families. And our facility is at 60th and 200 at 7634 Southwest 60th Avenue here in Ocala, about 5 minutes off of 75.
Okay.
And one of the most important things is that when the children are helped by an outside person
Yes.
who does these services, that child is developing a friendship and they're more receptive to the person that's teaching them than if a stranger would be there.
Well,
We're helping them.
It's going to take about 30 to 45 days for them to really warm up to an individual that's working with them as an ABA provider. But once that relationship is cemented and they're able to start putting these, different behavioral plans into place, you will see a difference. And then you teach the caregivers, you teach the parents, you teach teachers, you teach anyone that comes in contact, and everyone's doing the same thing. And with everyone doing the same thing, there's a regularity and there's a sameness. And so then the child understands that this is the way that we're going to do things. And then they start having improvement of behavioral issues, improvement in social issues, learning life skills, doing all the things that come to most kids naturally. But for a child with autism, they need this extra help, and that's what applied behavioral analysis does. It gives them that help, and so that they can be included with other children.
Right.
So,
Mary, we didn't forget about you. I just want to say to all of you, you have done an amazing job. Try to put yourself in our position. We had no idea what this was about when you came in here, and now we have a basic grasp of what this is about. It sounds like something that's a no-brainer. It sounds like something we need to be behind. Yeah. If you're out there and maybe you're with, I don't know, we know some groups out there, the veterans groups might want to jump on this, the Champions for Champions. I mean, that's what they're about.
Certainly.
That's what
Champions for Champions is aware of the
That's
issue.
what they're about, yeah. So make some calls, get some, so we need to get some phone numbers out there. I guess it's just easy enough. Just say the governor's office.
Yes.
Does the local county commission, is that
They've been made aware of the issue. Please contact, David Moore, Carl Zalek, all these people over at the commissioner's office. Our mayor's been alerted. I mean, we're telling everyone, and we're not really getting a whole lot of response. And so that's why we're here, and that's why we're trying to do newspaper stories and anyone that will listen to get the word out. Because you're right, unless you have a child or an adult that has autism, you have no idea what it is that families go through on a day-to-day basis.
Well, you have you've lit a fire under this, and I think you did the right thing by coming in here. I know that we only reach a certain segment of the population, but we're kindling wood, okay?
Thank you so much.
And it'll happen. It's Channel 20 if you're listening, Star Banner if you're listening, Ocala Magazine. I know you're out every month. I don't know that would help, but just everybody else, just call somebody. I'll make it a point to call the governor's office and some of the candidates. They should put this on their list of things that they promised to fix.
Absolutely.
That's what we're hoping is that this will be added. The other thing I just want to make sure that families know is we just got funded for a United Way grant that will help with a basic behavioral plan for families that are waiting to get applied behavioral analysis. And they can call our office or visit our website to get more information about that. It's not going to be someone like Chris or Mary coming into the house, but it's a basic behavioral plan that they can share with teachers, caregivers, and parents for that child to help them get through the hump until they can get these services in their house. So we're very grateful to the United Way for funding us for this program.
You're a strong spokesperson. Before we say goodbye and get you off the air, give us the contact information, phone number, website, everything. Facebook page, you have one of them too, right?
Yes, Facebook page, just search for Outreach Autism Services Network and you will find us. Like us and you'll be updated to everything that we have going on. Our website is outreachautismservicesnetwork.com or oasn.info if that's easier and faster for you. And our phone number, 352-462 0168, and our program coordinator, Danielle, she will be happy to take your call right now. So
we have recorded this both as a video and an audio. We'll put that video up on YouTube as well as on our Facebook page. Please share this with everybody. Let this interview go to more people than just heard it right now. Karen Vega, Mary Spivey on the phone, Chris Maxwell, you guys are, I don't even know how you do your job, Mary and Chris, whatever you do, I don't even know how you reach a person.
It's the gold standard is what we call it. It's really the best treatment that you can get.
Jamie, our prayers are with you and with Sammy. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not.